Welcome back for episode 4 of Marital Tiffs, where we invite you into our marriage to debate the not-so-important topics, discuss each other, and more. I'm Tim.
I'm Karen.
And we're a couple of married geeks who often get very passionate when we disagree about the super important topics like our favorite TV shows, personality traits, and whether time has any meaning anymore.
Sure doesn't seem like it.
No, it definitely doesn't. We're about, almost 2 months into the quarantine. It's Cinco de Mayo today.
Yeah. No celebrations over here. No tacos or margaritas to speak of.
We've officially bridged the gap between 2 drinking holidays. We've gone from St. Patrick's Day to Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, but speaking of tacos and margaritas, we are going to talk about food today and our great little quirks that we tend to have when it comes to food. And, what the heck else is there to do right now except eat and obsess about how it's super frustrating that the other person sometimes isn't totally on board with food. So,
yeah, I've definitely eaten a lot over this quarantine.
Mostly wings.
A lot of wings. We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Lots and lots of wings. I need more.
And one thing I want to kind of air out right now, since this is called Marital Tiffs, is I don't know that we've necessarily had this as a verbal tiff all the time, but it's definitely an internal tiff that I have with you a lot, which is, if you have listened to previous episodes, you know that Tim and I both hate mayonnaise, for example.
It's the worst.
I don't like it plain on a sandwich or in a pasta salad or anything like that. However, I do understand that there are some foods that I enjoy, like hot dips or Caesar salad or something like that one of the ingredients maybe is mayonnaise, and I can get over it. I can overlook that. Tim, for the life of him, cannot overlook if there's an ingredient mixed in with something and it's only a small amount, it doesn't matter.
If I know it has mayonnaise, not whipped cream, but sour cream or cream cheese, I'm done.
It's so annoying. Why?
It's a mental thing for me. I know it's there, and therefore I'll taste it.
But what if you don't know it's there? Why do you do it to yourself, too? You always ask. And, I'm never going to lie to you. I'm never going to manipulate you. But I wish you wouldn't ask.
I don't know what it is, but if I know it's there, I can't eat it.
Sometimes it doesn't even taste I get, if you don't like cream cheese, not eating cheesecake, for example, because it pretty much tastes like cream cheese.
I mean, it is cream cheese.
But if you eat a dip or something that has cream cheese, it doesn't really taste like cream cheese. It's just,
if I know it's there, it's all I taste. Whether you can taste it or not, it's all I taste.
Sigh. Audible sigh. That is super, super frustrating. And I feel like you have a lot of other kind of pickier quirks also. There are things that you just will not eat regardless of what it's in, and regardless of if you've ever even really tried it, or if it's been a long time since you've tried it. Maybe our taste buds die as we age, so there might...
I'm aware of this. I grew up hating mashed potatoes, but I eat those now.
That's not a success. That's not a good achievement. It's mashed potatoes, dude. It's not this crazy thing. It's mashed potatoes.
I hated them.
Your taste buds have died since you have last tried several food items that you refuse to eat now. And I bet that if you gave them an honest shot, you would genuinely probably like them.
Call me crazy. Mentally, I can't get over that roadblock.
Olives, I feel like you won't eat.
I won't eat them.
But you eat pickles and other vinegary brined things.
Yep.
So I don't get it.
It's a mental thing for me.
It doesn't make sense.
I never said it was logical.
It's not logical.
I said it's a mental thing for me.
I know that I'm not the only person who feels this frustration. I know my mom and dad, they kind of butt heads from time to time because my dad's a little pickier than she is. And my mom's a little picky, but I feel like she's pretty open-minded. But my dad, he's pretty closed-minded when it comes to food. And I feel like I didn't marry my dad, but that aspect, yeah, you guys definitely, during holidays and things like that, you put us on our toes, and it's not cool.
And on the flip side, you're now experiencing what my mom experienced for her entire parenthood.
Which is you eat 4 things?
Yes.
That's really annoying. My condolences. I feel like you have gotten a little bit better, but still.
I mean, I've opened up my palate a little bit.
Yeah, it's just like, and especially if I'm the person who does the cooking and the grocery shopping, you gotta give me a little bit back with like being available and open-minded to eating some of the things that I prepare.
Oh, we know that the fans are not going to side with me on this one.
No, absolutely not, because you're not wrong. Like, I appreciate that there are some things that you just don't like as a person, but when that list is like 50 things long, it's a little ridiculous.
I think you're over-exaggerating it.
Okay.
There is plenty that I will eat.
Sure, but name 10 things that I won't eat.
I don't know.
Exactly.
We found something I don't know about you.
I don't think there's really many foods. And by that, I mean, like, I guess, like, I don't want to say normal, but probably, like, widely available American foods, like American grocery store staple foods. Like, there are some, I'm sure, foreign foods and things like that that I've just haven't been exposed to, that I would say that I've never eaten and might not eat. But I don't know that there's really any, if you go into any grocery store in the right type of dish, I just wouldn't eat it. So you got to understand how frustrating it is for me.
And yet you're the one who struggles the most to pick a restaurant.
Listen, I'm not the only one. You do it too.
I will find something to eat anywhere.
Okay, but in the before times when we could actually go out to eat and things like that, and I'd say, where do you want to go? And you'd say, I don't know.
And I'd say, where do you want to go? And how do you respond?
I would say like a restaurant that I like. And then you would say, no, I don't really want that.
Don't even
if there were, listen, if we ever get like enough money to open a restaurant, I swear to God, I'm going to call it, I don't know. Just to put you somewhere where you're going to be happy. We're going to serve chicken nuggets and wings and call it a freaking day.
No, it's going to have a little bit of everything. It's going to have some Asian, some Italian, some American, some of this, some of that, some Mexican, all sorts of, so there's a little bit for everybody.
But let me tell you, the worst offense by far that you do in terms of food. As you guys, I just told you, I prepare the food, I shop for the groceries and things like that. It can be a little exhausting from time to time trying to think of what we should have for dinner this week. So what do you say? What is your response when I say, Tim, what's your opinion on things that we could have for dinner this week?
Food.
And he thinks it's hilarious.
I think I'm not a dad, but I'm pretty sure every dad out there agrees with me.
And when I say, what kind of food?
The edible kind.
It's a big internal contentment that I have. Like, just literally just pick something. Like, do you not have favorites then? Like, you don't have anything that you prefer even?
I don't have cravings like people typically do. Like, there is very little that I'm sitting here going, oh, you know what? I want that this week.
So you could be perfectly happy with like the food of the future that comes in capsule form.
Sure.
That has just enough calories to live.
Sure.
What is your problem? What is your deal? That is crazy.
Or is it practical?
No, it's not practical at all.
You complain about how picky I am, but then at the same time, you're like, oh, you're not picky enough that you don't choose your food.
Most people's constant and reliable joy in the world is a favorite food, a comfort food, a food that they like to go get at a restaurant, anything. But you're telling me right now that you don't have those things? That
there's very little that I crave, that I want, that I'm like, oh man, you know what? That would be awesome to have this week. I don't know why it is. Maybe it's just because I don't think that far ahead. It's just not how I operate.
I feel like I can recall maybe 2 foods that you've ever asked me for, which is like chili and nope,
wings.
Just the one. Wings. Just that. We have like, I guess, traditions maybe in terms of restaurants. Like, there's always a particular restaurant that we go to for our anniversary. There's always like a type of restaurant we go to when we're looking for like a night out versus like a quiet sit down situation. But If it's just like a casual, I don't feel like cooking kind of evening, God forbid, we should choose a restaurant the first or second time someone opens their mouth.
I mean, if we're picking a restaurant, I told you, I can find something I will eat anywhere.
And yet you still decline any restaurant that I offer. You're like, no, that doesn't sound good. Don't pretend that you're innocent here. I know the truth.
I mean, okay, fine. There are certain restaurants that I just am never in the mood for.
So I'm not trying to like completely crap on you this entire episode.
No, this bus hurt. This bus hurts.
So why don't you, to make it fair, say any complaints that you have in terms of food for me? Oh, none? Okay, then.
I mean, I already brought it up. You are impossible to get to choose a restaurant.
It's not impossible.
It is.
I just like to think about it. And the problem is that...
You like to think about it after we're in the car driving towards restaurants.
Because I want to just like go get there because I'm hungry. But
then where though? Where are we getting?
I mean, Fayetteville is not so large that if we don't just start driving in a direction, we couldn't happen upon a restaurant that sounds good, to be fair.
I think we've driven all up and down Skybo and you're just like, no.
If someone doesn't live in Fayetteville, that's like one of the main busier roads in Fayetteville. It's not even a road that has a ton of restaurants on it, though.
Oh, so there's quite a few.
I would say like there's a restaurant row, we jokingly call it here.
Well, yeah, there's McPherson.
But yeah, we've driven up and down that road a couple times trying to find something to eat. But the thing is, most of the reason why, here's what it is. The reason why I have trouble picking a specific restaurant is because I don't often want an entire meal from just one place. Like, I'd like a lot of different aspects of a meal from different places.
Okay, but that's not how restaurants work.
I understand that. I've said for years that for one of my birthdays, I'm just going to invite everybody over and we're going to have like a buffet of all of my favorite foods, like one dish from each of my favorite places. And that'll be the dream. That's the dream. Is that the dream? That's the dream, because, you know, sometimes you go to a place and like their main dish is really good, but their side dishes aren't that good, or like their appetizers are really good, but like their main dishes aren't that good, or like their dessert is amazing, but you don't want to just get dessert. Like you want to be able to have something else. So it's complicated. And I know I'm not the only person who feels that way.
No, I mean, there's a whole slew of memes about how women don't like to pick restaurants.
Yeah, I think that I've seen the memes about like what are they? Like a Twister style board, you know, where they have different like restaurant names on a board and someone just like flicks the arrow and whatever it lands on, they're like, that's it. That's where we're going.
And stuff like that.
They're like, I don't want to talk about it. This is where we're going. I'm definitely not the only person who feels like, but the thing is like, that is a normal like problem to have. Your problem is not normal. Most people, I would say, are at least a little bit open-minded to trying things in a new way.
New app idea. Eater. EATR.
I hardly know her.
And we're trying to keep this family friendly, Karen. And all it is you plug in how long you're willing to wait. And it gives you options, and you just swipe right or left as to whether or not you're feeling it that day.
There's a better name, though, than Eater. I mean, I totally agree. Like, I feel like I've seen something similar. They're rolling out that feature on, like, Amazon now, where if you search for, like, nightstand or something, right, it'll show you, like, a 6 by 6 square, and you can, like, X or check the ones that you like visually, and it will get rid of the ones that are similar in the square and populate new ones that are, you know, similar to the ones that you do like. So we need something like that. Like, we need something that populates, like, what I'm in the mood for. I need it to read my mind, essentially.
Right.
But here's a good trick for everybody, and this is kind of what I do with Tim sometimes, but he doesn't, when he's hungry, he gets cranky and he doesn't always like to play. But here's what you do, okay? If you've narrowed it down to 2 or even 3, I guess, restaurants, my advice is this. Ask the person you're going out to dinner with to pick a number, like assign one restaurant an even number and another restaurant an odd number, and say pick a number between 1 and 10. And if they pick the restaurant and then internally you're excited about it, then that's the one you should go to. And if internally you're like, oh, I kind of wish she had picked the other one, then you know that that's where you should go.
So why can't you just tell us the one that you were excited about?
Because you don't always know until the choice is taken from you.
I prefer the 5-3-1 method.
What's that?
The one where you give me 5 restaurants that you're willing to eat at, and then I come back and say, here's the 3 of those that I'd
We've
be
done
okay
that before.
with. And then you come back and go, well, out of those 3, this is the one I want.
But I don't want to be the one. I don't want to decide the one.
5-3-2-1, whatever.
Well, who has to decide the one? Because that's the problem. The problem is getting to the one. We have no problem shooting suggestions back and forth. The problem is who has to actually pull the trigger and decide.
I mean, it's always worked for us when we've done it.
Mm-hmm. And so imagine this then. We pick a restaurant. You're like, honey, we're going to dinner tonight. In the after times when everybody is able to actually go out to eat. And I'm like, I know exactly where we're going to go. We're going to go here. And you're like, yes, perfect. No deliberation. Awesome. And all they have is like dips with a little bit of mayonnaise in it or a little bit of like red pepper flakes or something like that. Would you be
sounds like a horrible restaurant.
Would you be open-minded to trying?
No, we wouldn't go there.
Well, what if I didn't tell you?
Then that would make you a bad wife.
That's true. I don't want to be manipulative and I don't want to lie because that's not cool. Like, you shouldn't do that to your partner. But like, give me a little bit. Like, give me some. Like, it's not that hard to just try. This is years, you guys. Like, years and years of us being together and me attempting to cook for something and me finding a recipe or thinking of something that I'm like so proud of because I'm like, yes, he's gonna love this. This is gonna be great. A crowd favorite. And then there's one ingredient in there. And if he like sees the cream cheese wrapper on the counter or in the grocery cart or asks me directly, hey, what's in this? And it's all ruined and it all comes crumbling down and he won't even put the bite in his mouth. And it's a little disheartening. I won't lie.
I'm sorry.
You're not sorry.
I mean, I can't get past the mental aspect of it.
What do you think it is about knowing that there's an ingredient that by itself you don't like, but when it's mixed in, you can't taste it? What do you think it is?
I just mentally, that's all I taste.
I feel like if your taste buds are that supreme and developed, you're in the wrong line of work.
It's not that that's the flavor that comes out. It's just that mentally, that's what I taste.
I mean, to be fair, do you even remember what like cream cheese tastes like?
Yes.
Okay. That's
because I've had it in more recent years.
When?
I've tasted it.
When?
I can't give you a specific day.
Knowingly?
I've had it before.
You knowingly have tried cream cheese recently?
No, I've had it accidentally and gone, oh, there's cream cheese.
I cannot deal with, and especially right now in the quarantine, like, you kind of have to take what you can get in terms of like what's available at the grocery stores. We haven't really ventured into any grocery stores in person. We've mostly done pickup. So
we've only done pickup.
Yeah, we really only have done pickup. So a lot of
times we did that before the quarantine.
That's true. But a lot of times we don't know what the substitutions or cancellations of certain items are until like the half hour before we're supposed to go get it. So there have been weeks, like it's gotten a little bit better, but there have been weeks where there's been tons of things that we just haven't been able to get. And by we, I mean I have had to be really creative with like the kind of meals that are prepared. So I feel like you gotta give me something. You gotta be a little bit open-minded. And if you were able to do that, then I maybe would be able to pick a restaurant more quickly.
Oh, is that how that works? I don't think you would.
I would, because I'm too overwhelmed with choices, because when we go to a restaurant, obviously you and I don't have to eat the same thing. So I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many things that I can eat now that I don't get to eat at home. Like, what should I choose? I like the fries at this place and with the dip at this place, and I like the dessert at this place. And so it's an overwhelming amount of choice. But if I were able to make a lot of those things at home, then it would be...
That sounds like you're blaming me for your indecisiveness.
I think that...
And I don't think that that's my fault.
I think that anybody else who has gone out to eat with me would agree that I am not a difficult person normally to pick a restaurant. It's just with you. There's too many choices that I really, really want because I don't get to have them at home because you are a child.
I'm not a child. Just because I like my adult chicken nuggets doesn't mean I'm a child.
What are your favorite foods?
Steak.
Okay.
Burgers.
Sure.
Wings.
Okay.
Those are probably my top 3. Crab.
Okay. So meat and fried things.
Yes. I don't see the problem.
I just feel like if you were able to accept that sometimes things can just stand alone and act as ingredients. It doesn't have to be the main portion of a meal. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't, just because it's a dip that has cream cheese in it, doesn't mean that it's a cream cheese dip. Just give me something. And you know how much I hate mayonnaise, but like I can mentally overlook it. If like, even if I know while I'm eating it that it's very likely that something has mayonnaise inside of it, if it tastes good, then I don't care.
You refuse to cook with mayonnaise because you won't eat it.
Right. There's a difference between like having to, because like I don't know why you don't like mayonnaise, but why I don't like mayonnaise is because it's like the gloopiness. It just freaks me out. If I can't even.
The flavor is horrible.
Sure, but I can't cook with it because I can't deal with the thought of like slurping it, glooping it out of the jar or whatever.
No, I don't like it because it tastes bad.
I mean, that's fair. And like I hate getting it on a sandwich and stuff. I feel like I'm rambling, but this is I needed an outlet, you guys. Like I needed this to happen. I just needed to talk to somebody.
Well, that'll do it for this episode of Marital Tiffs. Be sure to subscribe on all social media at Marital Tiffs on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can follow us on your favorite podcast app. We are officially on Spotify and will be coming to Google and Apple Podcasts here soon. And if you do listen to us on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review and rating. Thanks for listening to Marital Tiffs.
You guys let us know if you have anybody in your life or if you yourself are someone who's a picky eater or has trouble going to restaurants, or maybe if after the quarantine is over, you know exactly where you're going to go and what you're going to make. Let us know.
Have a good night.